I think the subject today is very vital, particularly about devolution. And my worry sometimes we are overemphasizing ourselves on the 15% on the counties and forgetting the 85% which is being run by the executive. Who is going to pull those 85% resources again back to the constituencies, back to the grassroots? I think it's fundamental to understand. The counties are going to transform the entire economy. There'll be competition among counties, and also there'll be benefit from the county.
The message of the report is, I think we would like to be hopeful, but it really isn't, because the question is, do we have the wherewithal to actually master this storm? And the big fear from business about devolution is, in the absence of a cohesive framework, it has potential for disruption. I think we really need to pay a lot of attention to facilitation of business within a devolved government, but more importantly, adequate preparation for devolution.
I really appreciate the presentations. I'll focus more my commentary on devolution. We have major problems in Kenya of inequalities, and let's admit that. Some people are doing very well, some regions are doing very well, others are not. Decentralization, devolution will not solve these problems. Looking at this distribution, whatever is there, we have to think very carefully that it is also possible, in some cases, that devolution could actually make things worse in terms of differences.
You know, sometimes devolutions are based on improving service delivery. We want to improve basic health and education and so on. And so you do the devolution, and then you find that actually health and education outcomes got worse. The hard thing there, though, is what to do when you observe that these outcomes get worse. Because I think eventually we will have a system in Kenya where local county governments are delivering services, where local service providers are accountable to those county governments. But it's going to be a long, hard road, and we have to be vigilant about making sure that we stay the course. And I think the really wonderful analytical work that you've done so far will serve us in good stead as we move forward. Thank you.
Now, my question to you is, you are looking across Africa, looking at the geopolitical environment. The Iranians this week said if they get attacked, the oil price goes to $250. I'm not saying it does, but I'm saying what happens to us if it goes to 120, 130, 140?
The consensus on what's going to happen to the price of oil is really quite broad. I think it's just as easily could go down as much as go up. Think about it, you know, if the Eurozone crisis leads to a recession in Europe, which could then trigger a global recession, because you've got US not exactly booming, Japan also fairly flat, and China and India slowing down, we could have a global recession. Then the price of oil will almost surely go down, and alongside the prices of other commodities.
So the question is, how alongside a written new constitution do we sit down together as a society and craft things that can allow us to compromise and make trade-offs? Because that's what, things happen. We don't know what's going to happen. If we are able to react, then things go wrong, and that's what I see all the time.
I believe eventually people will understand the role of devolution, the benefit of the devolution, and that's why the Senate will get more power. But the idea of abolishing the Senate is misplaced. It will be rejected not only by the people, but also by Parliament itself, and we will stand very firm against any idea of changing the spirit of the Constitution.
Let me be a bit skeptical. Sometimes it helps. I've listened to a lot of very intelligent discussions which make an assumption that the architecture you are looking at was designed very intelligently.
And I think the reality is, we are having a phenomenal expansion of the political bureaucracy. Number two, quality of services is only as good as the quality of the manager. And to my mind, there's no good a gatekeeper of quality in the appointment of managers in the next dispensation. I have seen, if you go to Kavirondo, you will say, the clerks to the south will give us a governor. We, the clerks from the north, will give you a senator. It's going to be
an excuse for discrimination, ethnic stereotyping. And we're going to see a very phenomenal rising of the skill map of Kenya. That persons go to areas of ethnic comfort. That quality is compromised because you want your own to be employed. We're going to elect governors and senators because of the problems that our clan is going to get the jobs now that we form our own government. And our governor is presiding over /farm. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think what we should accept is that if we are in the ditch, we don't argue why we are in the ditch. We see a way out of how to get out of it. And we can discuss when we are out there. But let me say this. First of all, I think in terms of development, it's just not physical development, but development of people in terms of social services that they get. And I think where we lose the plot in our country is that when we want to determine the issues, we lose focus. We become regional, we become ethnic. We ought to interrogate any government that wants to stay in power in terms of how best it has utilized the taxes.
It is critical that we recognize the challenges of delivering the promise of devolution, of delivering growth in the context of the crisis of 2011, and recognize that somebody actually has to make decisions move. We can't just keep postponing things and hoping that with time and with the rains, we'll get better. No, the rains will not make this better. Decisions of human beings need to be made, and I think that's what we're looking for from our political leaders.